Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel with Antigonus Gaming. We are back. In the last video, we defeated Zorba and the human that he revived. We are waiting for the Sanctus Church to make an announcement regarding the throne. We have just a couple more days till that. We also defeated the monster out in the desert. So all we've got we've started our bonds with Hulkenberg and Stroll. So we're gonna talk to this masked dude. He's one of the Mistari. Because the only other person we can do anything with is Brigitte, the merchant lady, and she's only available currently at night. So let's talk with them. Well then, today I'll detail more of the faith we believe in. Go, God's messengers ruled over existence. When they perished, they conferred a holy relic unto the world. The holy relics exist to this day and have been passed down for generations within our tribe as divine objects that represent God himself. We believe that only the one who wield the divine relic, the instrument of God, can truly receive authentic teachings. One of our teachings tells us to devote our entire being that we hold most dear. Even now, it's the core tenet of our priestess. I feel...
All right.
So...
Pleased to hear.
If you're wondering why my royal virtues were suddenly maxed out, it's because I had an error on the original video for this segment, and it wouldn't upload properly. There was like a problem with the file, so I had to refilm it. And the only way I could do that was on my New Game Plus file, which was roughly about this point in the story. But otherwise, everything else is the same. We're going to talk to Brigitte here now outside of the Igniter shop. You seem unscathed, because we helped her by clearing out that dungeon, so you haven't told anyone about it. So be it. You and I are collaborators now. Well then, shall we discuss your summit? I'll say I'm in. Alright, come in. This is what I want you to handle. And she's got her little dog. It's got a mix of black and white fur sitting on her fancy couch. I want you to feed it, play with it, generally take care of it until I return. There's one rule, however. You cannot let anyone else find out that there's a dog here. No exceptions, no mistake. I'll say, okay, that's it. Is it actually some vicious monster? I'll say, that's it. Is that it? Sounds simple.
Yes.
It is, but you can't let your guard down. I mean it when I say I want no mistakes. I'm sure you're aware of the anti-Igniter crowd around here, the fools who believe Igniters will destroy the world. Even beyond them, there are plenty of people in this world who will jump at the chance to do something crueler than kill me.
That's why.
This thing is a weakness waiting to be exploited, so I have to hide it. I'm entrusting this matter to you. I'll say, why me? But why are you asking this of me? Because you're as far removed from my business as anyone could be, she says with a smile. And in case it bears saying, don't even think of crossing me. Being associates has worked for us so far. You don't want us to be enemies. Her name is... No, never mind. Call it what you want. I'm not really sure why, but I've been trusted with taking care of Brigitte's dog. The dog's now laying on its back. It seems strangely attached to you already. I suppose you have some surprising skills, such as using magic without an igniter. I'll say, did you look into me? Did you look into my background? If it could impact my igniter business, it's my job to know about it. And that's not all. Word has it that you and your entourage can transform your bodies for combat somehow. Long ago, there once existed an ultimate magic. They say the hero king of legend wielded a power very much like yours. Ha, though I sincerely doubt you'll be following in his footsteps. I'll be frank, Will, you're bad for business, but that's precisely why I'm going to lend you my power. I'm selling igniters because they turn a profit, but I hate the damn things, from the bottom of my heart. But this is a world dominated by igniters. So long as you've got the money, you've got almost all the power you can want. Quite a pitch, isn't it? Those on top make a lot of profit off bleeding the downtrodden dry. The strong get even stronger, and the weak only cast even further down. My own hands are not bloodless in that, so I will endeavor to help you break the wretched wheel. If nothing else, it'll be amusing, no? I can sense Brigida's faint expectations and trust towards me. Rank up. Rank 2. Reduce the Magla cost of studying the merchant lineage. You should go home for today. I'll give you your pay. I'll say done already. I haven't done it. You've exceeded expectations already. You've made the dog like you. Something impossible for me. Until next time, we'll be waiting, or at least the dog will.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Fine.
Let's see. So we got 2 more days until the Sanctus announcement. We can't do anything with either Stroll or Hulkenberg. Let's see. Oh, can we... town activities? So... So really all we can do are increase our royal virtues, because we don't really have anyone we can talk to at the moment. So I guess we'll hang out on the bench and gain some knowledge. Once you've maxed out your royal virtues, all of the extra points just get converted into Magla. So let's take a short break. So the streets are packed, but at least it's not a huge crowd as the royal funeral had. Some are a bunch of nobles in the main street around Grand Cathedral. I can see Clamar, Rogue, even some Ishkia. But if you head to the back street, you'll see more Parapas. Guess that's what class divide looks like. And there's you, the only Elda in town. It's crazy how people say the most vile things right to your face. I can say I hate it here, I don't let it get to me. I'll say I don't let it get to me. It doesn't really bother me. That's very strong of you, but if anything does get under your skin, make sure to speak up. Let's not hide anything from each other, okay? Personally, I don't see much difference among the tribes, but I bet a lot of people would disagree with me there. Gazing at the sights increased my wisdom. Back to the Hush Honeybee. Alright. So I'm gonna head out just for a short time. Because I want to describe something visually. I don't remember if I described the Gauntlet Runner or not, but in this video it's going to be important because we're going to see more of them very shortly. So the Gauntlet Runners are the main way that people get from town to town in this game, in this world, and they're called runners because, so essentially the body looks like almost like a submarine, and then coming out of the body there's like a cockpit kind of thing for whoever's running it, but the runner itself, when you step back, is attached to what looks like a metallic beast that has like a tail, 2 giant legs, and a body of its own. And so the ship doesn't sail using wings or sails, but rather it sails because it moves because it's literally got a robot that has legs that are attached to it that can take massive steps. And because the body is held up in the air from a, from the big metal beast that moves it, it's safe from, things on the ground like monsters and other stuff. We're going to talk to this old dude. He's the one who talks to us about the fairies. Oh my, is that a fairy I see? Well, I'll be. Now, look, I know I'm rare, but So, this guy's telling us that He knows the fairy, so we're gonna talk to him. So now we're in the restaurant, and there's like posters behind him and a candle on the table. This old dude's got glasses. He's wearing like a green and orange checkered outfit with a small vest over. I can't tell which tribe he is. Probably a rogue because he's got white hair, and a lot of the rogue tribe tend to have white or silver hair. And he's old, and rogues live a really long time. Like they tend to live like 3 or 4 times longer than humans do. So, you know, that kind of makes them like the Numenor from Lord of the Rings, where they don't look that different from ordinary humans, but they just like live to be like 200 or 300 years old. Brigitte's a rogue. Grius was a rogue. Forden, the head of the church, he's a rogue too. There was a cave that nearby the village that prohibited anyone from entering, but one day my ancestor, who was just a boy, decided he had to see it for himself. So he defied his elders. Your ancestor sounds like a handful. It runs in the family, ha. Anyway, sure enough, he ventured deep inside and soon became swallowed in darkness. Hopefully, a handful or not he was, still just a boy, and his bravery failed him. He sank to his knees crying. But then something bathed in warm light caught his eyes. It approached him. The light actually spoke, saying, "Pipe down, you can't cry in a place like this." He was shocked. As he got a good look at it, the boy realized it was a fairy, pulsing with light. He was so relieved his tears only magnified. But the fairy couldn't bear it. Throwing her arms up, she said, "If you want to cry so badly, fine, suit yourself," and she left. Before he knew it, the fairy returned. "Come on, follow me," she said. "I'll show you the way out." And she did. So I thought the fairy was kind of cruel at first, but I guess she had a good heart. When they arrived at the cave's mouth, the boy turned to thank the fairy, but she'd already disappeared into thin air. Time marched on. As he grew into an adult, he visited the cave countless times, hoping to find and thank her, but he never saw her again as long as he lived. Oh, but would you look at that time? We better pick this up again later. If you want to know the ending, I'll be around. So I get my 2 imagination points, and in this case, since this is a refilm, they just turn into magma points for me. This won't be the case for future videos. Not entirely sure why this one wouldn't upload my original for this one. So, Forden's grand announcement's coming tomorrow, is it? What's this proclamation going to be anyway? I wonder if this is going to thank us for what we did in the Grand Cathedral. I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Ostensibly, the state army is going to get all the credit for taking down the human after all. We shall know soon enough, but there's little point in contemplating it further. Until then, let us simply do what we can and wait for the events to unfold. So we got one more day. We're going to pass it by pretty quick. The Sanctus Grand Announcement's happening tomorrow. So then, I guess we'll talk to the Mustari guy again. So, I feel like we talked about many things. My tolerance went up. And we'll make food with Fabienne. Let's do it then. So we make the food. Also I don't. So, and I get the points. You get more points as you advance through the story, so, you know, when we get to the further end, we'll be getting 4, 5, and 6, 3, 4, 5, 6 points.
It would seem the disaster was averted.
So this would have been the day that Zorba's plan would have gone into effect, but since we beat Zorba, nothing happened. Right.
Then. Today's Forden's big announcement.
Wonder what he's planning.
We're in the...
I guess the church has to have some reaction to all that stuff the king said.
We're in the inn room at the second floor of the Hush Honey Bin be still. Hulkenberg's not in the room.
Won't be able to just ignore it. This might be a day that goes down in history.
So now we're out in the square. We've got Batlin, who's that church crier. He's standing on a stage, talking to a crowd of all different tribes. Batlin's just a reminder, Batlin is a Clamar. He's got red hair, but he's got his hair on the sides of his head are shaved. He's got a little bit of a stubble, and he's wearing like a kind of like a nice suit, and then he's got a little coat kind of thing over it.
Sanctifex Borden has spoken. The giant face in the sky, the massive rocks appearing throughout the land, and the mysterious voice claiming to be the past king. The Sanctus Church has officially recognized these happenings as the will of His Royal Majesty.
So it really is His Majesty.
And so, as His Majesty has decreed, whoever has gained the greatest trust of the people by the day of decision shall be our new king. This is a historic moment, good citizens. It's revolutionary. It's unprecedented. No matter who you are, you can take the throne.
Anyone?
Even me. If, and this is a big if, you are the person that all our people trust most in their hearts.
Maybe you could be king yourself, eh? You're popular enough.
Me? In charge? Well, that's the last thing this country needs. Right, let's review what we know, shall we? First, the new faces that have appeared on the rock. It shows us who's foremost in the running. We've worked out that much. The top 3 of the lot are also shown in the sky. Suppose that way you can see their inspiring faces anytime, anywhere.
Hold on. How's us common folk supposed to stand a chance against all these upper crusters?
Say you do become popular. With your face clear for all to see, surely that'd make you a prime target for assassination.
Not quite, friend. Not quite. A valid concern, but one His Majesty prepared for.
So we see a rock in the town square, and there's faces carved in the rock. On the front, we've got Luis's face and Forden's face, and then there's another guy on the back of the rock who's a little bit smaller than the two of them.
Popular aspirants, at least those who make it onto the rock, are protected by royal magic. Assassinations off the table. Magic chains will spring to life and bind anyone who tries. I saw it happen with my own eyes to Count Luis's sorry assailant.
So, literally anyone could be king? Even a pauper? Or a slave? Or a criminal?
Hold on. You mean to say we might not be ruled by Clamar? What does that mean for us?
Right, I've said my piece. You know all I know. Now go forth, ladies and gents, and spread the word. Whether you're from our fair capital or the middle of nowhere, the crown's within your grasp. Anyone in the land could be our next king.
Hulkenberg comes back.
I heard the announcement. The church has chosen to recognize this face's words as crown sent and shall abide by them.
They conceded that one quickly. Though I suppose it's a hard thing to deny, what with the royal palace hanging up there in the clouds.
Had they rushed a coronation for His Eminence Forden, it would have dashed any hope of reinstating His Highness. A small comfort.
I can tell from your face there's some bad news, too.
Do you recall those chains that froze Alsace in place? It seems that, too, was part of His Majesty's magic. Plainly, any candidates of sufficient favor cannot be deposed by force.
That's not good.
No, 'tis not indeed. This marks Luis as nigh untouchable. I will still seek to find him. Yet, even should we stand before the man himself, we could not kill him.
No! If we can't kill him, then how do we break the curse?
What the hell was the king thinking? Grius was trying to save his son. He died for it.
Even so, without this magic, no aspirant would be safe from assassination, leaving Luis to dominate through sheer martial strength. We appear to be at an impasse.
Fabian comes into the room.
Everyone, have you seen Maria?
Did something happen?
I checked her room and she isn't there. She wouldn't just leave without telling anyone. I couldn't deal with losing both of them.
I'll say I'll go look for her.
I'll go look for her.
You will? Thank you. When I think of what might happen to her.
If she left her room on her own, she must have had some reason.
Let's go search for her. If we head into town, we might find some clues.
Where?
You're kidding.
So now we gotta look for Maria. Oh, you mean that kid? Yeah, I saw her earlier. The stairs north of the Sunshade Row, you know, by the general store. Didn't look to be running an errand, though. General, sorry, might someone else you saw if we head over there. Alright.
What's it all got to do with us anyway?
So, she's actually in the cathedral. Oh, I came up the wrong way, but it's okay. So we'll just head to the cathedral.
What should I do?
So we can talk to the soldier here. Luis's faction is left, but the Grand Cathedral's in horrible state. The non-human monsters are still there too. Beaudre, what do we... Okay. Oh, we gotta talk to the other soldier who's standing by the gate. Do you know that little half-blood girl? You can't let a girl like that walk the streets alone. You're just asking for trouble. She just went inside. Wait. Well, the way her eyes looked, I'd not be the one to stop her now. She's been coming to pray for a while, no matter how many glares she gets. So now we're in the cathedral. It's in a state of disrepair and ruin, of course, from the battle inside that happened.
Huh? Why?
I can say, what are you doing here? Let's go home, or everyone's where. I'll say, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Papa hasn't come home. And I always come here whenever I'm feeling lonely. One time he came here to get me. I remember because he called my name. But I pray, and he still doesn't come back. Maybe because the cathedral's broken?
Maria.
Miss Fabienne says Papa can't come home anymore. But I know Papa's gone away. He's gone somewhere I'll never see him again, hasn't he? It's going to be so lonely. The loneliest it's ever been. But I have to be strong, don't I? But if it gets any lonelier, I don't know if I can do it.
I'm sorry. I promised we'd all come back together.
Why does everyone always leave?
Will walks forward and kneels down. So he's
Mum was
actually...
sick. The king and prince are gone. And now Papa? Why does everyone always leave? Is it my fault? I really did my best to be a good girl, but...
I can say, it's not why.
That's not why.
He's right, Maria. It's not your fault at all.
Listen to me, all right? Your father, he was fighting a very bad man. We were with him, but we couldn't protect him. I'm sorry.
I remember Papa saying something like that. He said, a really bad man might be our king. Is that part of it?
I'll tell her not to worry.
It's going to be all right. Don't worry.
I hope the next king is as nice as you. Then maybe things won't always be so sad.
In my ideal world, people can believe in the future. Their birth doesn't matter, the prince told me once.
I think I understand the king's intentions now. Maybe this is the sort of tragedy he was trying to end. Maybe he wanted a world where the crown goes to one who acts like a king ought to, not whoever's willing to spill the most blood to do it.
You may be right. But much as we wish it, this is not a fight that might be ended through words alone.
Even so, we have to try.
So we're back in the Hush Tiny Bean now.
Maria, you're safe. Oh, you had me worried sick.
I'm sorry for leaving on my own.
No, it's all right.
Miss Fabienne, I'm hungry.
Maria. Yes, that's right. Let's all sit down for some supper together. Thank you for finding her.
It looks like she's worked things out.
She's a strong girl. But we've more troubles ahead. How now do we resolve this curse upon His Highness?
If Luis is the curse's caster, we've got to kill him to dispel it. So how do we do?
I wish I could report back, but the prince is still asleep, and we're losing time. I don't think going back to the village is an option.
We cannot lose faith yet. There must be some further course we can pursue.
Well, there's the church's announcement. I expect they're trying to stop a wave of rival candidates from flooding the standings. I doubt the church would accept this popularity contest if they didn't already have a plan to game it.
True enough. I can only wonder at their aims. For today, we should content ourselves with rest and recovery.
Late night. So now we're in the bedroom.
Sorry, did I wake you? Laying here, I always end up caught in my own thoughts. Grius and Maria. The prince. Just thinking in circles again. Not good, is it?
I'll say let's think about it together.
Let's think about it together. Keeping me company, are you? You really are a strange one. My kind of strange, if I'm honest. That book, is that the novel you're always carrying around? Feels like months ago now that I spotted you buried in it on the carriage ride to the fort.
I'll say, want to read it?
Want to read it?
If you don't mind, since we've finally some room to breathe. Oh, interesting. It's written through the lens of a fictional land. This bit's about the Utopia's security.
So the picture, it's a picture. So we've got, in the background, we've got like what looks like some kind of an open market, people buying stuff. In the immediate foreground, we've got someone selling fruit to what looks like a small girl. And then on the right side of the picture, we've got a man and a woman that are each dressed in some kind of security clothes, and then they've got a shield, and each of them have a shield in their left hand that has some kind of fancy design looking like it's, a state-sponsored thing, and then some kind of a sword. So, security forces of some kind.
In this world, there is no blood-stained contest for sovereignty. The people choose their sovereign from among themselves. One cannot put a sovereign to the sword to seize power. Such an act would be met with scorn and judged as murder. Taking power or wealth by force is seen as the most shameful of transgressions. Couldn't be further from reality, could it? We've a kingslayer on the brink of seizing the throne right now. And this idea of competing for public support. Here it sounds so commonplace, but the idea has thrown us all into chaos. Interesting. Perhaps I'm overthinking, but it sounds almost like the aim of the king's magic. You suppose there's some common inspiration? Still, I don't imagine this would turn out well in the real world. In public opinion, tribal perspective always divides us. Besides, does a decision made by the people guarantee it's right? Tribal squabbles aren't always political. Take us Clamars, for example. It can be hard for us to see outside the bubble of our own worldview. We're the majority, and the tribe of the royal bloodline besides. That privilege can make us insensitive.
I think Stroll makes a really good point there. That in any country, there's always some kind of majority group or group that's at control, and when you have the wealth or the money or whatever resource it is that puts you in the in the pole position to continue to exert power in your society, sometimes it can be difficult to look outside the bubble and realize that other groups that are lower in the social pyramid are struggling with things that you don't. And it takes people like Stroll who are in that majority group who have the wisdom and perspective to see that oftentimes to help change move forward. Um,
A problem with no easy solution.
and like he says, there's no easy solution because, not everyone is able to take a step back and close their eyes and think about what their life would be like if they somehow were put into the position of being in one of these other groups than the one that they live in.
Lofty words. I can hardly come to terms with my own ideals. Still, the discussions helped clear my head a little. Thank you. I've been so fixated on killing Louise, but maybe we could look into whether that's really the only way to lift the curse. Sleep should come easier now. Think I'll give it another chance. Wait, how long have you been asleep?
Will fell asleep before Stroll did.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
June 23rd, Arbor's Day. All right, we got
Ladies and
Batlin's
gents,
back.
Have you heard the news? The curtain's about to rise on the show of a lifetime. To choose our new ruler, we're going to give all of you a chance to take center stage in a show of power for the whole kingdom. And we call it the Tournament for the Throne. Our aspirants will set out on a grand tour of the three allied nations' capitals, taking part in a variety of exciting trials. First, we have the exhibition of the brave. Slay a monster plaguing our fair people and bring its head to Oceania's capital in time. Biggest find takes the win. Official word is, this event's open to all. So what do you think, ladies and gents? Are you in it to watch or in it to win?
Now we're back in the Hush
So,
Honeybee.
why call us so early in the morning? What is that journal?
I had Fabienne bring it up. Something occurred to me, so I asked her to go through Grius' personal effects.
Hey, looks like he was investigating the curse too.
There's a note here. Given the spell's complexity, it must have required a scribed formula.
You mean to suggest Louise possesses a written composition of the curse somewhere? And if we can find that...
Yes. I'd wager, even if we can't kill Louise, we might still have a shot at breaking the curse.
That attack took place years ago, didn't it? This curse's formula could be lost for good.
We have little choice but to hope it's not. I'm not saying it will be easy, and the real trick will be finding it. We wouldn't leave it unprotected.
That reminds me. A crier for the church was handing these out.
Hulkenberg puts a poster on the
A
table.
flyer for the Tournament for the Throne. This popularity contest is state-sponsored now. An interesting gamble for those politicians. I like the bit about all this being in the interest of fairness, those weasels. But saying it's being organized by the state. The throne's empty. This smells like the theocracy at work. Probably Forden himself.
You think Forden's looking to fix the competition in his favor? He's been in first place this whole time.
In the interest of fairness, remember? If he wins a fair race, he gets legitimized, and Louise gets put on the back foot.
That bodes ill. Those with existing support could easily solidify their claim. Even should His Highness wake, he may lose the throne.
If we don't hurry and find a way to get close to Louise, we're sunk. What are we supposed to do?
We need a plan, and then we can take action. As an Elda, and I'm an outcast in this city, I think that gives us an advantage here. So I can say we enter the tournament for the throne, we get the people's attention, and make Luis come to us. I'll say we enter the tournament for the throne.
Let's enter this tournament for the throne.
Huh? Hey, were you even listening to us? Besides, the prince isn't exactly in a position to take part in...
Wait. It sounds crazy, but I think he might be onto something there. This could be just the excuse we need to get close to Luis. He doesn't care about your tribe so long as you prove capable, yes? That's what Zorba was saying. Which means, even though the world looks down on you as an elder, having the power to kill humans puts you in his good graces.
You're going to make him a candidate for the throne?
If all we need to do is get Luis's attention, then that's sure to get the job done. If we're lucky, he might even try to recruit us.
I see. An undercover operation, is it? Quite a gambit, but it may well be our best chance at finding this formula.
Just hold on a second. Getting Luis's attention is all well and good. But remember who's actually risking their life here.
Infiltrating Luis's ranks will be dangerous. If I'm found out, I'll be as good as dead.
What
Is
do you
what
think?
our protagonist
Having heard
thinks.
all this, do you want to enter the running?
I'll say I do.
Of course I do.
No hesitation at all.
Right.
I'm reminded of the words of the prince spoke to me in our youth.
In my ideal world, people can believe in their future. Their birth doesn't matter. No matter who someone is, they deserve a fair country. If it's to help achieve that, I will stand for the prince as a candidate for the throne.
Sheesh. So much for being a guide. Now you're the one leading me around.
Your resolve has marked you a fine fit for the role. I have trusted you with my life before, and would gladly do so again.
I inherited Grius's journal. So now we're in the afternoon.
Good heavens. Haven't you put yourself in enough danger? Listen to me. I don't want you going down the same path he did. Are you really this set on running off again?
I'll say yes.
Yes, I've got a job to do.
Huh. Familiar words. I'll be cheering for you in this mess of a competition. Truth be told, I wish I could do more than feed and shelter you.
What's the competition?
It's a big grand race to see who will be the next king. The whole country will be watching.
So you're going to try and become king? Wow! Then I'll cheer for you as loud as I can.
You have your first advocate, it seems.
Suppose you'll have to actually try for the throne now, eh? Your Majesty.
I'll say that's the plan.
That was the plan from the start.
That's the spirit.
Well, if we want Luis to notice you, we'll have to make quite a stir among the people. Maybe reaching for the throne will do it.
Does that mean you're not coming back?
No, we'll be back. Although we might be a while.
I don't like when it gets lonely.
Maria.
But I'll be cheering for you. I hope you win the race. You'd be a good king.
I'll say thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah.
Now, we'd best get registration out of the way, but we'll need some legs for the journey. It's mostly lawless wastes between cities.
Judging by this specified deadline, we're unlikely to reach the Principality of Oceana's capital in time on foot.
I bet all these fancy nobles have their own gauntlet runners to ride in.
A carriage might save our chances, if we could find one. Perhaps we split up for now. I'll leave you two to the registration. They should be taking entrance at the recruitment center.
So now we're in the recruitment center with Stroll and
This should
Gallica.
be the place, right?
Excuse us, we're looking to join the tournament for the throne.
Aye? Bit young, ain't ya? But who's the kid? He with you?
I'll say I'm the one entering.
I'm the one entering.
You? Really?
So it's just some random
I've not heard of
soldier.
any age restrictions. There a problem?
Well, I'd not have thought it, but you're an elder, ain't ya? And you want to be king. Well, the novelty of it might win you some looks.
Could you just do your job, please? Can he register or not?
Recruiter.
An elder. Now that I think of it.
So it's the red-haired dude who was sitting with Captain Klinger back at the beginning when he recruited us into the guard.
Weren't you in that pack of recruits that went off to the northern fort? Thought I heard they were all wiped out. What? We got a deserter turning up.
No, they said he'd just dragged the company down, so they left him at the capital. He, got on the captain's bad side.
I'd swear I've seen you before, too. Well, hardly matters without captain to verify it with. Go on, then. You can represent the lesser tribes so nobody complains.
That was a close one.
And, obviously, you're gonna need a carriage. Otherwise, the whole thing's off here. You're obligated to attend the opening ceremony tomorrow. It'll be at the plaza at the Grand Cathedral. Don't be late.
We'll have to hope Hulkenberg can find us a carriage.
As for us, I expect we should see about finding a monster to slay. If it's not impressive enough, Luis won't look twice at you.
So we got all the people crowded around the board with the
Some hustlers
various...
over there. They should be offering bounties on monsters the guard can't handle. Let's take a look.
So it's like it's a bounty board basically with pictures of all the various monsters that are up.
Looks like everyone else had the same idea.
One of these bounties is bound to make me stand out. But which figure is probably better?
Male candidate.
Hang on. There's nothing but small-time contracts here.
You not here for this tournament, then? Bit slow, I'm afraid. Most of my worthiest monster bills have already been snapped up by other competitors.
How about requests on anything aside from monsters? Bounties include criminals too, right?
I suppose I've got one of those, yeah.
Let's see. Ugh, he's horrible. Heisme. A villainous kidnapper. Looks like the army's been trying to catch him for a while now.
This might just be perfect. Oh, you have any idea who that is?
Boorish young man. Okay, so this guy's a Roussant, so he's got the the long elf-looking ears. He's got purple hair that's parted over to one side. He's got a pet dog with him, and he's got a sword, and then he's wearing like an animal skin, almost like a leopard skin looking jacket that goes all the way down, outfit, but it's purple, just like his hair.
That man's an elite. An ex-royal knight, they say. He'd make short work of a scrawny little urchin. You can be sure of that. Besides, didn't you hear what it is they're actually looking for?
Oh, of course. It's about whoever can bring in the biggest monster head, right?
If you imbeciles can't even get that straight, you've no chance at winning. They want kingly types, not children play acting.
And the purple-haired Roussant dude walks away.
Is that the kind of competition we can expect?
He was right about the rules, though. What are you thinking?
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
We're supposed to get a monster's head. So why are you going for a criminal? Any idea what he's up to?
I'll say to stop his evil deeds, we don't need to win, or maybe he has a big head. I'll say we don't need to win.
Maybe it's because we don't actually have to win.
Sharp as always, Captain. Don't worry, I'll explain everything later.
As long as you can convince Hulkenberg, I guess.
Ho there! Are you really taking the bounty on Heisme?
So we got another Roussant dude. He's got black hair, and then that goes down to a beard, no mustache. He's wearing a green jacket. He's got an igniter around his
You three
neck.
must be heaven sent. Please, would you listen to our plight?
says is Regal Soldier. So,
Your pardon, gentlemen. I'm Barton, a guard captain for Matira, a town to the south. The bounty on Highsmere is up at my behest.
so he's got a green jacket and like a green kind of like skirt looking thing, and then he's got silver, like a silver chest plate, silver leg armor, and then most of the clothes underneath that aren't green are white, and then he's got black gloves
A guard captain.
and a sword.
This fellow's made some powerful enemies.
We can't afford lenience. On top of his past crimes, Highsmere has stooped to abducting our wee ones. Our children. Selling them off, some say. If our city becomes known for nightly disappearances, what sane resident would stay? Community and trade will dwindle and die.
But he's just a lone kidnapper, right? Even if he's some infamous criminal, why can't the guard handle it?
That's the trouble. He makes his hideout somewhere too dangerous for our soldiers to tread. Deep in the territory of vicious giant worms. We've no idea how he manages to operate out there without getting devoured himself.
I see. Tricky problem indeed.
I'd no choice but to swallow my pride and post a bounty. Yet no matter how many times I renew the bill, none have taken it. A pitiful sight, isn't it? A soldier who can't protect his home, whether by strength or by surrender. Laugh if you must.
I'll say you're not. I can say you're not pitiful. We would never laugh. We want to help you. I'll say you're not pitiful.
There's nothing pitiful about it.
You only cast away your honor in the name of protection. Nothing pitiful in that. Swallow your pride no more, man. We'll take your contract.
Thanks to you. That you'd accept such a perilous request, even with this tournament looming over everything. Closure. Thank you all, and thank God for bringing you to me. In that case, we shall meet in Matira, the old castle town. Please, make haste.
Well, no backing out of this now. You sure this is what we want?
The way I see it, if we want to make a big impact this late, it's going to take some creativity. Besides, this is apparently a knight-turned kidnapper. The man can't be allowed to go on. What would His Royal Highness do in our place?
I guess that's fair.
I'll convince Hulkenberg. Somehow. You go on and accept the contract.
All right, so we can talk to other candidates. Greedy noble. Yes, I'm too late. All the eye-catching posts are already taken. Though a bounty need not be a person. If I procure the head of some horrific monster like a human, my family's name will be known the world would know. Jittery attack. Hold on a minute, please. Isn't besting a monstrosity a bit complicated? Let's see. So, Demo Man Goddard. Oh, what's the whippersnapper like you doing here? Don't tell me you're actually thinking of participating in the tournament for the throne of the audacity of youth. That's rich. A mere fledgling with no history or expertise speaking of as king makes me sick to my stomach. The ideal leader of this country is a dignified man of great age, one with years of experience. And yet upstart school children like you and Louise dare to. Ugh, the only thing that's older than this codger are his endless complaints. Let's just ignore him and head to the reception desk. So, I suppose. So he's got gray hair, like a green shirt, a brown jacket, and looks like gray pants. I think he's a rogue, because rogues are the tribe that live a really long time. So, hey, would it be alright if we accepted the bounty contract for Highsmere? Highsmere, you sure you can handle that? We can't be held liable if you get yourself killed out there. I'll say, of course I can. You're an odd one, alright. Either that or you're just green. Head to Martyr. You can probably get more information there. Quest start. Highsmere, notorious kidnapper. 100,000 Reeve and courage points. I need to find and bring Highsmere, a notorious criminal who tried a series of kidnappings in Martyra. Despite his bounty, he has evaded capture, and his identity remains a mystery. Okay, we got the contract. Let's head back to the inn for now. Nighttime on the 23rd.
No registration issues, I trust?
No, indeed. And we found ourselves a perfect target.
Fine work.
Stroll.
See? She's convinced. Nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it. I'll prepare a map of the surrounding areas as well. But never mind that. Have you found us a kingly carriage?
Well, I have made some arrangements. How best to put it? The vessel itself is without peer. Supposedly, it will come to us on the day of the opening ceremony.
You don't sound too sure about that.
She's got kind of an annoyed look on her face. No.
No, I'm certain. All I mean to say is, well, you shall soon see for yourself.
Well, under the circumstances, I'll take what we can get. And setting that up in a day. Not so bad having a knight on our side.
You needn't speak so. In truth, I've just resigned from the Knight's Order. Though 'tis only my bond of service I relinquish, not my title. We will shortly be seeking Luis's esteem. Should it come to light that I am a knight in active service, it may jeopardize our efforts.
Still, you didn't hesitate to leave. I can tell you're serious about this.
It was not an abrupt parting. I've come to doubt the Order since returning to find them serving the Santifex and not the Royals. Those who refused the Church's rule were cast out for their defiance. I only hope those fallen knights found useful employ elsewhere.
Sounds like you've been through a lot too.
Well, in any case, we can focus on our bounty contract now. Let's make sure we get some proper rest tonight.
The opening ceremony for the tournament is tomorrow.
Let's rest.
We should probably stay inside and rest today. Alright, so we head on up. Maria's room. Guest room. That's Hulkenberg's room. We shouldn't... Okay, the bedroom. Alright. It's this one. The bed is simple and clean, but clean. It has an aroma that reminds me of a clear sunny day. Maybe it's time to call. So I'll say let's rest.
Good night.
Night goes to late night.
Can I come in?
Maria's in here. She's sad. I'll say, what's wrong?
What's wrong?
Well,
You're all leaving tomorrow, right? I'll be cheering for you. So I just... Oh no. I promised Miss Fabian I wouldn't cry.
I'll say you don't have to worry.
Oh, it's all right. You don't have to worry.
Papa was trying to stop a bad man, you said. And that's what you're all doing too, isn't it? Please come back home safe. I'll be waiting here as long as it takes.
I'll say it's a promise.
It's a problem.
All right. Promise? The next time I see you again, can you tell me more about the outside world?
Promising returns. Maria's waiting for us to return home and regale her with tales of the strange and distant places we visit.
I never got a chance to say this to Papa. So, thank you. I'll go to bed now.
Captain, may I have a moment?
Good night.
Now Hulkenberg's in here.
I was hoping for a chance to speak before we set out. Since our meeting, I've done nothing but impose on you. Now you risk your very life for this cause. It is no easy burden. It pains me to see, when I think of how this may yet save His Highness, I lose sight of all else. Such disregard ill becomes me.
So I can say, don't worry about it. That's putting it mildly, or you're truly devoted. So I'll say, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
'Tis kind of you to say. But that book, we met once before, on a carriage bound for the capital. Do you recall?
I'll say I do.
Now that you mention it, I do.
My apologies. I thought only to minimize casualties, one way or another. So, 'tis a novel envisioning an ideal world. Curious to see a utopian novel these days. I'd thought them long since banned. You needn't worry. I've no intention of taking it from you. I've sometimes wondered why such books were forbidden. Rumors say the Sanctists objected to their contents. Yet I wonder, how could a simple mind if I read a passage or two?
Will nods as well, and she opens the book.
So, it is a fiction written as if a personal account.
So it shows 3 different scales. On one side of each of the scales, there's a person putting a ballot into a ballot box, and then on the other side, you've got different, different people.
This chapter seems to concern the system by which the nation's leader is decided. In this country, one cannot become even a statesman, much less sovereign, without the consent of the people. Those who aspire to statecraft must first solemnly swear before the people what they will do in service of their country. Should they earn title but break their word, they are denounced and stripped of power. Such is the authority of the people. In this way, it is the people who are the land's true king. Quite the opposite of our own country. Now I see why our upper echelons would abolish such texts. Had our lands embraced such accountability, perhaps His Royal Highness would not have suffered such a fate. No. As a knight, 'tis not my place to say. I must clear my head of these fantasies. In the end, clinging to a dream will do me no good. Oh, I suppose 'tis not so bad to dream now and then. It takes power to walk the path of our dearest hopes. Perhaps that is the purpose of this newfound strength. My dearest dream, 'tis to save His Highness, even at the cost of my life. Nothing more.
Hulkenberg has a really good point here, saying you need power to walk the path of your dreams. And she's right. You know, if you want to improve your life and make it better and, dream big, you need to have a certain amount of self-confidence to do that. And, I think this game goes into that theme pretty strongly.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
June 24th, the day of the opening ceremony. Early morning. So now we've got a lady walking across the stage in the cathedral plaza. This is where we fought the human, but that's gone.
Lady Juna!
We got all the fancy Clamar who've got front row seats. She's walking between soldiers. Batlin's up there as well. He bows to her. She's got long flowing blonde hair that goes down to her feet. She's got a nice frilly white dress. And her eyes are blue and pink. She's got light makeup on. Her hair is blonde with some pink at the end. Forden's here along with other candidates we haven't met yet. And we see the sun shining even on Sunshade Row. And all the people stand up and clap. You've got all the upper class people, the Roussants and the Clamar, close to the stage, of course. June is waving to everyone that's cheering for her, because she's like the world's most famous songstress. So now we're out of the cutscene. She bows, curtsies, and then she turns around and walks back towards the cathedral as she waves to everyone, smiles, and we got Batlin sitting there.
Even I'm feeling the heat. Well, I suppose it's time to fan the flames. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the inauguration of the tournament for the throne.
And he puts his arms up in the
For
air.
the first time, the crown is anyone's to claim, as long as the aspirants can complete 3 grueling challenges.
Oh, a Sanctus Crier! He's perfect for this!
Let's discuss the venues. We kick off in the west.
So he's
in
showing the
pearl
map.
of the coast, the Principality of Oceania's harbour city capital, Port Brilehaven.
So Port
There,
Brilehaven
they face their first challenge, the exhibition of the brave.
is in
Each
the
contender must bring back the head of a
southwest
monster,
along
a
the
mark
coast.
of their prowess and courage. Next, our would-be monarchs head east. Upon the misty peaks, we arrive in the Principality of Montario's beautiful city of faith, Altaberry Heights.
So Altaberry's up in the
And
mountains in the
finally,
east.
Our heroes make their well-deserved return home to Gran Trad. But first, let's do introductions. It's time to meet those risking their lives for the crown. Closest to the throne, I know him, you know him. It's Sanctism's one and only 78 Sanctifex, His Eminence, Forden!
So we've got Forden.
Victory to Sanctifex Forden!
Some fireworks are going off. He's in first place. He's standing on his own gauntlet runner with his staff. Puts it
I
aloft.
claim no great ambition, nor any heated calls to action. All I wish is to restore order for our people and to safeguard our land from the threats beyond.
So
This chaos we face is but one of God's many trials. Let us restore our kingdom's glory together!
So Forden is like clearly the institutionalist, arch-conservative candidate, change
Moving right
nothing.
along, we come next to His
You know,
Eminence's
just-
champion, the very spear in his hand, the warrior monk captain of the Crown Theocracy, Master Dido.
So
I come before you only in loyal service of His Eminence. I relinquish the throne to him gladly.
So Godot's a bald
But those who
Roussant
would
guy.
seize the crown by force, I will teach you to fear God and to fear me.
So he's got a white cloak, black, some kind of black armor underneath,
Forces do the Sanctus have in this race?
decorated in gold.
It's not over by far. The Luis supporters won't take this lying down.
What cowardice, Friar! Where's Count Louise?
So some of his supporters start crying out from the stage that, where is he?
All right, settle down. At this time, I can report that Count Luis has not applied to enter the tournament.
What? He's not even entering?
Then what becomes of us? Our entire purpose in this race was to get closer to him.
Don't worry. He's definitely paying attention. He's only in second as it is, so we can't afford to ignore this whole production. Sit tight. I'm sure he'll make a move soon.
All right, all right. For those Count Luis supporters, you might want to meet our next entrant. A rising socialite, a man of ambition, godless and fearless, the brash young warrior serving Count Luis, Gladel, the Black Hound.
And this is the dude with the purple hair and the purple, like, animal skin clothes.
The fallen king embraced sanctism and all its holy tenets, and for what? He was nothing before Lord Luis. Look to the sky all you wish. No god can save you.
He
What
motions.
our country needs is power. Well, it's not quite all the contenders, but let's get on with the introductions. The great liberal merchant, it's Roger War.
So
By war, by conquest, by right, it's Rudolph Kraus. In it more for the gauntlet runners than the throne, it's Lena Caden. Sure to be popular by pledging free drinks for life, it's Loveless O'Shea. Uplifting the beautiful and deposing the hideous, it's Milo Maurizio.
Wow. If we lose this, I think the country has some even bigger problems.
So those are just candidates of various other tribes, and they're all kind of like memes making fun of
I do
generic,
believe we
different
have
types
one
of
final
politicians.
candidate. Do we have an Elden boy present? Come on, let's see a face.
And now Will's waving, but he doesn't. All these other candidates have their own gauntlet runners, other than our team.
What? An elder? Disgraceful. Is this the only way you could think to distinguish yourself?
Our team's being heckled by the crowd of Clamars and Roussant nobles.
By the way, the ride you applied with still hasn't arrived. And if it doesn't show up by the time the noon bell rings,
you're disqualified. All right?
Hey! What's going on?
Gallica's yelling at
That nitwit! What is he
Hulkenberg.
doing?
And the clock is about to ring noon. We have the guy up on the bell tower.
So, contestants, are you ready?
And then all of a sudden the ground starts to shake. We are in like a cutscene kind of thing.
What? Last, I say! Wait! Found your behave!
We got a dude with glasses and white hair. All of a sudden, a gauntlet runner jumps over the wall.
It's quick.
Wait, it's headed right for them! It'll crash!
Batlin's got a shocked look on his face and it crashes right into the wall of the cathedral.
What the heck is that?
Wonderful. So much for a first impression.
What ho? Isn't he a marvel, chums?
You don't! You nearly brought down the cathedral. Have a care. Was that enough when Luis did it the first time? That feckless, shameless old fool.
Not bad, kid. Guess you've got some interesting tricks up your sleeve after all.
Right, I'd call that a full roster. Ladies and gentlemen, race across the land. Go, prove yourself worthy and earn your crown. For the people, for the throne. Let the games begin.
All the various gauntlet runners start to depart.
We must take to the road.
Our team climbs onto the one that just showed up. And we've got our pilot, the dude with the white hair and the black jacket, smiling. He's got glasses.
So fast! Gotta hold on to something or I'll get blown up!
Gallica's hanging onto Will's shoulder. We head out of the city, through the desert. And we rank up from 5,800 to about 5,000. I ended up standing out more than I expected. I've gained a lot of interest, but I only consider this part of my mission to aid the prince. So now we're looking at the map.
Just a sec.
What is this thing? Is this our carriage? Gallica says in quotes.
Can you hear me?
Shall I just run her along the main road then? The others seem to be doing just as much. So our pilot, he has round glasses, white hair that goes into like mutton chops and a mustache, but no beard. He's got kind of like a pirate coat look. He's an Ishkia, and he's black. You're just as crazy as this runner. I'll take that as a compliment, little lady. Now let's have some coordinates for a little test run. What is happening right now? We want to a place called Martira. Old Castle Town, I think. Should be ways south. So Martira is south of here. We've got 3 campsites between it and the town on the map. So let's look at the map here. So we can see some of the old areas we visited, like the Beliga Corridor, the Nord Mines, the northern border fort. We can look, so on the western side of Ukraine, it's ringed by water. We've got mountains and forests with like red and yellow, or this is the eastern half, sorry. Leaves. This is where Altaberry is. We can't go there yet because we're not there in the story. In the far western edge, you've got a huge green forest area. And then we've got desert and we got rocky desert like terrain in the middle. There's an inland sea in the far south area with an archipelago of islands, and then on the southwest we've got like a forested peninsula, and that's where Brilehaven is at. But we're just heading down to the southern portion of the desert for now to go to Martira, which is the town that Barden's from, and that's where we're gonna try to capture Heisme. Yep. Down to Martira, eh? On this craft's legs, I'd say, oh, that'll be 4 days, 3 nights, about, the pilot says. 4 days and 3 nights, that's a great deal faster than a carriage, and surely the roads will be safer than that kind of speed. Bally good. Now, cinch those britches, chaps. Full steam ahead to Martira Old Castletown. So now we're in the runner.
This is amazing. I don't know a thing about gauntlet runners, but even I can tell this is a hell of a craft. I can hardly believe she's ours to drive.
You're telling me that? Feels like ages since I've been out on the open road. This Girl's been waiting long enough for her time to shine.
So the pilot is talking to us through a like an intercom system.
So this is what you use to talk with the driver. Convenient, that. Look, old fellow, are you really on our side? You realize we don't have funds to pay you.
Money? Ah, I'm not in this for the money, boy. What I want is a little gusto. What do you think, lad? Isn't this a rush?
It is at that. Like riding the wind.
That's the ticket. Ha. It's been so long since I've had a good chin wag.
This guy, our pilot, is like the, scientist, kind of like crazy scientist character that, type that we all know and love. And when he's all excited, that's when his glasses fog over and like the light's coming off and you can't see his eyes. Brilliant, isn't it? I'll say it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You've a good head on your shoulders, boy. Yes, I can tell you're a sharp one. Where to, ladies? The world is our shellfish.
You certainly are a different person behind the wheel.
Hey, Hulkenberg! Can we get an explanation yet?
That man is Norris. An Ishkia, if it was not obvious from the wings. And despite everything, he was heir to a noble house and personal machinist for the royal family.
So we can now see Norris in full. So I was just grabbing him off his portrait. He's got kind of like a pirate-looking coat, but it's unbuttoned. So we can see he's got a black and white striped shirt. He's got like a red kind of ascot-looking thing. We can see his wings because he's an Ishkia. But then he's got like tan shorts and flip-flops on. I mean, I love Norris, but he is definitely silly at the same time.
What?
And he's sitting inside like the pilot room. So we've got kind of like this lit up, weird looking scientific light thing behind him, and then he's got his hands on a steering wheel device, and then he's got, like round windows on the sides in front of him so he can see where he's going.
He's a master engineer, of course, positively peerless. But as you can see, the runners get him a bit excitable.
So now we're going to go back to what Hulkenberg was doing when we were at the recruitment center the day before. Noble District Under City.
Norris? Are you there? I'm coming in.
So Hulkenberg came into Norris's workshop. He's sitting at like a workbench, working on various stuff. He's got all kind of...
Even amidst all this commotion in town, I find you buried in your work.
And then he's got all these like images, like details of gauntlet runners on the wall.
Too much to do.
As always. To business then. I must ask a favor. Would you be able to ready a carriage for me?
No new commissions. No time for them. Ask another right.
It is not a new one I require. Before His Highness disappeared, did you not accept a contract to build him a custom carriage?
And he stops and he just looks up.
I reasoned that it must now lie unused. I was hoping I might borrow it a short while.
Pish and tosh, woman. She is for royal use and naught else.
'Tis an unreasonable request, I know, but I'd not be asking without a grave need. Might I at least see it?
I mean, well,
'Twas specially made for His Highness, yes? Not a work you'd have sold off. Where lies it now?
I've deadlines to meet, dash it. Off with you now. Leave me be.
You've been acting stranger than usual. What ails you?
She goes up and taps him on the shoulder, and then she pulls down like a lever that turns on some lights.
Good God.
And it turns on the lights in like a storage area, and she sees the gauntlet runner.
Is this a gauntlet runner? The very craft commissioned for His Highness the Prince?
And Norris comes off from his desk.
His Highness was gone. Still you toiled away. Norris, you are an inspiration. Such nobility of purpose.
Yes. Right.
However, for a craft meant for the royal family, all exactly to their orders?
He look like he's like looking away from her.
You cannot mean.
Well, at first, certainly. I followed the blueprints exactly. But then His Highness died, and, well, I couldn't just let the old girl waste away. A masterpiece like her collecting dust in storage? No! Unacceptable! Unthinkable!
Hulkenberg just stand there. She's like,
I'm working toward a dream. And this poor old girl is going to help me see it through. And then, finally...
You imbecile! A lowly, brazen court engineer butchering His Highness's inheritance for a hobby! For this mania! You embezzled the royal treasury and disrespected his legacy! Treason!
Mercy, please! Look, take my head if you must, milady. But leave the Balliol runner alone.
so Nurse like gets in between her and the Gauntlet Runner.
This runner is fully operational now, is it?
And Hulkenberg's got her like angry, annoyed face, and she's staring right at him, hands on her hips.
Finish your tinkering by tomorrow and bring it to the Grand Cathedral as soon as you can.
What's all this now? You play the proud soldier at me and then pluck it for your own schemes?
Tis no scheme. I would use it for His Highness's sake.
For His Highness, eh? Hold a tick. Haven't you been looking for him? Wandering across God knows where, last I heard. So if you're back now and now you want a gauntlet runner for His Highness, is His Highness still alive? That's it! I've got you, haven't I?
'Twas His Highness who gave you refuge while you were only a heretical scholar condemned by the Sanctists. The time has come to repay his mercy.
Understood.
And so Nurse agreed to join our team.
Can this old duck really handle an undercover operation?
I know what you're thinking, but 'tis at least true that he feels an undying debt of gratitude to the royal family.
Pish and tosh, boy. A little faith. Not to brag, but this old duck's craft might be the fastest gauntlet runner in the kingdom. Why, probably the world. I think. Maybe.
How encouraging.
All I want is to push this runner as far and as fast as she can go. Show her off to the world. And you? Well, I presume you'd rather work together than have to walk, eh?
I don't know about this, but I guess we'll just have to trust him. What do you think?
I said I think we can count on him.
I think we can count on him. If you're sure, I suppose. We'll deal with it if we have to.
Either way, he knows the prince is alive, so we can't just leave him to his own devices. We're all in the same boat. Or runner, I guess.
You lot can handle the fighting, and I'll handle all the driving and grease work. Just make sure you've got a proper plan for all this mess now.
This guy's got no filter. But he has a point. We do need to talk strategy.
So, summing up. Our first trial is to slay a monster. We take its head as proof, then get it to the goal line before the deadline. The bigger the head, our destination is Port Brilehaven, the capital of the Western Principality of Oceania. It'd be a trek on foot, but this gauntlet runner should make it a snap.
So getting the bounty's head is our next move. And our target is a nefarious criminal who's been kidnapping and selling off children. Right?
A criminal? Did the task not specify a monster's head?
Don't worry, all part of the plan. We don't need to win this thing. We just need to get Luis's attention. Everyone's going to show up with monster heads, and we shake things up with a felon. A Knight turned kidnapper at that. Shows them we're there for justice.
But to deliberately violate the rules, we risk being disqualified entirely. Then again, tis just as likely to win the people's attention and thereby Luis's. I do understand the intent. What do you think of this plan?
I'll say it's perfect.
I think it's a perfect idea. Makes sense, doesn't it? The bounty's Heismay, an ex-knight. I realize that's a little close to home, Hulkenberg, so if you'd rather hang back...
No. His title is precisely why I cannot let his atrocities stand. And yet, it is strange indeed that we are hunting a mere man when the trial demands a monster. Then again, our true aim is beyond the ambitions of any other aspirant. Our fate rests in this plan of yours, Stroll.
Thank you. I'll try to ensure your trust isn't misplaced.
So now we're into the afternoon on the 24th.
Right, then our course is set. Feel free to use anything in the gauntlet runner. Even got a bathing room if you could use a wash.
Good to know. We can always look around more thoroughly later.
Yes. You needn't tire yourself out before we arrive.
Well, I'm a tinkerer and not much else. All my fighting happens in the old workshop. But I'll take you wherever you're going for your sake and mine. After all, the wilds out there are no very picnic. Oh no. It's a den of wild beasts and savage scoundrels. And we'll not get past it without days on the road together. So, if you need anything besides a steady hand on the wheel, give me a hoot. Bound to find me in the cockpit or the engine room.
He's certainly an eccentric, but he doesn't seem like a bad person. We'll get used to him, I suppose.
Alright, so now we're in the Gauntlet Runner.
Yeah?
I've never been in a Gauntlet Runner. Kind of want to see what the engine room's like. So, that'll be it for this video. In the next video, we'll explore the Gauntlet Runner, and we'll be on our way to Martira. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back soon with more Metaphor Refantazio. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.